Mr. Pickles says we're live. What's up, Stu?
Hey, Mr. Pickles.
How are you?
I'm good.
I had a hell of a workout today. Oh, wait, I'm not in character anymore. I wonder what kind of a workout Mr. Pickles would do.
I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be kind of creepy, actually, watching him do push-ups, you know? It's kind of like, yeah, it's TMI right there. So, Stu.
Yes.
Today, for the Jim and Stu show, we have actually, I think, a really cool topic, one that I hope that our dear listeners and viewers and watchers will participate in with us.
Yeah, because it will require some comments and questions. Because I'm asking them a question. I'm looking for answers.
Either that or it'll be a really short show. So either way, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this for a second. What is the question?
Well, I got inspired, as always, by your letting the chickens out with Jim. There are some nice gems in those little videos.
Jim's gems.
And I really like the one that, don't do this or do this, don't do this, type of thing. Right. Don't lose these two things.
Right. That was a good hook.
That was a good hook. And I was like, okay, what shouldn't I lose?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Stu's like my car keys, my virginity,
yes.
my beer opener. Can you imagine losing your beer opener and not having screw off caps? That would suck.
You have to get creative. But anyway, you mentioned two things. And
okay.
What brought you to these two things that you shouldn't lose?
So the two things that I said in the video was you can't lose your integrity and you can't lose your credibility, because once you do, they're gone. You can't recover them. You'll always have, maybe that's too strong to say you'll never recover them, but it's like the old thing of, you can hang a picture, you drive a nail into the wall and you can pull the nail out, but the hole's still there. And so you can use that for like mean remarks and stuff like that. But the bottom line is that your integrity is pretty much your character and your beliefs and your actions and everything all in one tight little ball that mean that you act as a person of integrity at all times. And if you want to, I forget the exact saying, but if you want to judge the true character of a man, judge him by what he does when no one's looking. And that really struck home with me when I heard it 30 some odd years ago.
I would agree.
And it's, I guess I heard it longer than 30 years ago. And I remember a situation I was in where it was my senior year of college. I had been partying a little bit too much. I thought I had the world on a string. I was a history major. I had figured out pretty much how to ace any exam with a high level of quality BS spin. I could always get a B. And so I didn't study enough for my last exam because I was too busy already having graduated in my own mind. And I ended up going into the exam room, and there was no gimme question on the test. There was no question that I could BS, and I ended up failing the exam. But I remember sitting there thinking to myself, you know what? I could take a trip to the bathroom right now, quote unquote, run back over to my room, look in the textbook, get enough info to be able to answer this question and write something and get a B or a C and be done. And a voice inside my head said to me, if you do that for the rest of your life, you are going to know that you cheated to graduate from college. And are you prepared to live with that for the rest of your life, that you cheated to graduate? And I said no. And I went in and talked to the professor and told him, you know, and I thought maybe he might have a little mercy on me, do like a little oral thing, and he said, nope. So he failed me, but I didn't. I
Didn't fail the class.
I failed the class.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. So I didn't graduate. I didn't find out that I wasn't graduating until the day before graduation. My mom and dad, my grandma, my sister, everybody had already come into town. And I had to go tell my parents that I was not graduating. I had 119 credits out of 120 needed.
Oof.
And I ended up having to go to summer school. So I had to spend all my graduation present money on tuition and room and board and stuff. But looking back, if I had passed that exam, you and I would not be speaking, because my life would have taken a completely different turn, because I was going to go back up to Fairfax. I was either going to go to, I was pretty much going to become a Fairfax County cop for a couple of years and then go to work for the DEA. That was my plan. I mean, I was in good shape back then, and you know, it was that was my plan. And then everything got thrown into what I thought was turmoil, but ultimately turned out to be the right thing. And I've had several of those moments over time in life, personally. And thank God have pretty much managed to keep my integrity intact the whole time, not do anything that I'm ashamed of. I mean, I've screwed up. I've made some bad decisions.
Yes.
But nothing that violated my personal code of ethics, stealing from people, misrepresenting stuff. So, you know, that is directly linked then to your credibility with other people, with your credibility is basically your reputation.
Sure.
And your credibility can take hits, but I think you pretty much build the reputation as somebody who does what you say you're going to do when you're going to do it, and you're genuinely helping people, or you have the reputation of somebody who pretty much will do whatever's convenient at the moment. And I'm not going to mention names. And I mean, you can think in your own industry and other stuff. Everybody watching can think and see, and you know who's got credibility, and you know who's got credibility when it's important and then when it's not. So I think, and then Sonny, I believe it was Sonny, one of our followers from, I'm not sure if he's in India or not, but he said also self-esteem plays in there really big. And he was 100% right. If you think about self-esteem and integrity and credibility, it's like a triangle. Because if you have high self-esteem, you're not going to let your credibility take a hit or your integrity take a hit. And if you have high self-esteem and lots of integrity, your credibility is pretty much going to be good to go. And if you have credibility in the marketplace and you have integrity, then your self-esteem is going to be such that you're not going to want to screw that up. So it's those three things really work together. So there you go.
Yeah. So when I heard you say that,
is that the answer you were looking for or not?
No, it is. I think that's probably number 1 and 2 of the best business advice you can ever give somebody. And that's not only business, but it's also personal.
Right.
It's also personal advice. You can apply that to your personal relationships as well. But let's add on to it, and let's just talk about some of the best business advice you've ever heard, ever been given, or you've created for yourself. I'll get this show
party
going.
Started. You get this party started, Stu?
Yeah, I'll get this party started. So I remember I was on the fence, just getting out of the military, thinking about going to business school, getting an MBA, figuring out that whole process. And my dad goes, if you want an MBA, start your own business. Right? Just start it up. Don't figure it out. Just get it going, and you will figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
He goes, that is probably one of the best MBAs that you will ever get.
Yes.
And he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong at all. I mean, there was a lot of things I might have probably could have avoided, just mistakes. But half of those things aren't taught in business school anyway. These are little things that you got to deal with state regulations and whatever. The little things that throw little curveballs at you all the time that you just have to deal with.
Yeah.
Right. So I like that. It is more of a voice of action versus just talking about starting a business.
Yeah. I met your dad. I could see him giving you that advice in very plain language. And I would agree with that 1,000%, because a lot of the people I've met who've got MBAs don't know shit about business. And I'm, hey, if you got an MBA and I pissed you off, good. Love me, hate me. There's no money in the middle. It's like, okay, you got to go to get your MBA, and then you got to go work for somebody to figure out how it really works in the real world. I love this cost benefit analysis stuff. It's like, easy. I got this much money. I got this much time. And I think I can make this work. Yeah. I'm going to go do it and make sure my money doesn't run out before I run out of time.
Right.
That's cost benefit analysis. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got in business that goes right with what you just said there was that you don't need expensive equipment. You don't need an office. You don't need pretty much anything until you've got customers. And so a lot of people, and I learned this the hard way and lost my best friend in the process when we started our web design company. We went into big time debt to buy a web server, to buy all this stuff before we even got started. So we were starting from a deep hole, whereas what we should have done was just gone and gotten some shared hosting and gone and gotten some customers, and we probably would still be in business to this day. And that was a huge mistake. But the mistakes are the ones you learn from. So you that's always been my thing of I'm going to do. We were doing minimum viable products before it was a buzzword to say minimum viable product. It's like, hey, I'm going to bootstrap this in a quality way, but I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of money to do it. I remember, and this has been ingrained in me so much that I kind of had to uningrain it a little bit now. But like, I remember my buddy Yannick Silver and I wrote a book called 33 Days to Online Profits. And it was a 33-day blueprint for how to go from nothing to actually selling something online, writing your sales letter, setting up your stuff. And we had somebody say to us, hey, this book is great, but it would be even better if there were videos that I could watch to do this. And we said, yeah, that's great. So rather than going and blowing a whole bunch of money on a bunch of stuff, I went down to Radio Shack. I bought a splitter, plugged it into my computer, had 2 headsets. Yannick came down to my house. We both plugged into my computer on the same thing. We used a 30-day trial of TechSmith Camtasia, and I didn't even pay for it. And we made this 2 CD set, ended up making, I think it was $132,000 in 10 days selling the thing. And I didn't even pay for Camtasia until 6 months later because he didn't need it. And I've since paid them for many upgrades. Yeah. So that's another piece of advice that goes right along with that, is that you don't need to spend a crap ton of money before you've got customers. Here's a good one. I don't know who this was, but website traffic does not mean that you're making any money. Focus on attracting people who would pay, not lookers. Yes, absolutely. That's a great piece of advice, because I learned that in the real estate business. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. Plenty of real estate agents out there making $300,000-$400,000 in commission, but they're spending $400,000-$500,000 in ads and expense, and they just keep and assistants and all this other stuff, and they are hurting. I would much rather make 100 and keep 100 than make 500 and keep 50. So you need to keep an eye on that bottom line. Don't be stupid, but Another great lesson that I've learned is don't be afraid, though, to spend money on tools. If you honestly are going to use the tools, a lot of people spend money on tools that they don't use. They just sit there and waste, and you've wasted your money. But I'll tell you a quick story about this little VHS tape. All right. This VHS tape, Real Estate Marketing Online, 2 hours to marketing power. Learn the secrets to making big commissions using email and the web. And I published this back in, this is it was 2000. So 20 years ago, I published this. And the funny thing was that I had been teaching real estate agents how to use email, how to use the web, how to do different stuff with listings and building lists and just doing basic direct response marketing online. And this was right at the beginning of my, this was when I was on my way. It took a while, but this is when I had figured out what I was supposed to be doing and I was moving on down the trail. So I was speaking in front of groups of real estate agents all over the country. And I realized that I needed to have something to sell from the back of the room because the title company that was paying me to go around and do speaking they were paying me, but it was just basically paying expenses. I mean, I wasn't making a bunch of money. And I realized that while I was speaking to, anywhere from 50 to 300 real estate agents every time, if I could sell them something, I mean, it would be like pure profit. And so this was something that would, I could stick a bunch of these in a suitcase and take them with me, but I didn't have this. So I had like $600 to my name. All right. I was still living in the trailer. Everything was, it was at that tipping point in my life. It's going to go one way or another. All right. I'm hoping nobody would find out where I lived. I lived at 25 Mobile Lane, but we pronounced it Mobile. So whenever I had to give my address, I would see it's 25 Mobile Lane, like Mobile, Alabama, not mobile as in mobile home park, which it was. And so I said, I can put together a course. I've seen these courses that people don't. I can put together a course, but I needed some equipment to do it. I needed a scan converter, which was a thing that you could turn your TV, your old 4x3 big old cathode ray TV into a computer monitor. And then you could hook it into what was called a super VHS. And then I needed a mixing board too. Bottom line, I had $600 to my name, fresh out of bankruptcy, no credit cards, and I needed $450 to buy all this equipment. So I told Terry, I said, I know I can make this work. So it was a Saturday. We were at CompUSA. Remember CompUSA, Stu?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Okay.
Yep.
So went to CompUSA, bought the scan converter, went to Radio Shack, bought a Super VHS and a mixer and a microphone. I needed a microphone also. Went home, set this whole thing up. I was literally sitting on the floor at the coffee table in front of the TV that I had bought for $100 from a motel that was going out of business. It was locked to this was an old motel TV that was locked to one of those stands.
Wow.
And took the stand and the TV. I'm not sure if the guy worked at the motel or not. It was a good TV with a remote. So I'm sitting there and I spent all day and half the night figuring out how to make this thing work and figured out the curriculum I was going to teach. And then I taught a 2-hour class straight because there's no way to edit. 2 hours straight direct to VHS. And I then borrowed a couple of VCRs and set them all up like I was duping porn in my back of my trailer. Okay. Put the thing in and hit, loaded them all up and hit play, record, and was duping them myself, was printing the inserts. I had a color inkjet printer, printed the labels, printed the everything, produced this thing. And within 30 days, I had sold $5,000 worth. So that was when I realized that you need to invest in tools. Don't be afraid to invest in tools, but if you're going to invest in tools, you need to use them. Otherwise, you're just cheating yourself and you're kidding yourself. So that's another one of the pieces of advice that I've given myself over the years, is that you need to invest in tools if you're going to be successful. I know I dominated. I'm sorry to have dominated that, but I just
No, that's a great one. That's a great one. You know, I have another one as well. And I'm going to make this one a kind of a 2-for-1 thing, but it
Okay.
is called Stay in Your Lane and Dance with the One Who Brung You. Okay.
Yeah.
And here's my story on that one. Getting a little cocky after probably 4, maybe my 5th book that I had coming out. And I was like, you know what? Let me play around with this. I already learned one thing in that series of 5 books, is that unfit people don't buy fitness books. So all books now are just advanced level fitness. You know, I got some ebooks that are beginners, but pretty much a bookstore, if you're going to go buy a fitness book, you're probably already fit. All right. And you're trying to, you know, win
More
a race,
fit.
or you're trying to get more fit or something. So anyway, so I learned that lesson, but I also, once again, get a little cocky. I got a little sidetracked, and I came up with this one: common sense self-defense.
Oh,
right.
excuse me.
So I wrote this with a Green Beret friend of mine, and then we did a video on it. And it was just a big waste of money, and it did okay. But you know, I realized after that, I was like, you know what? I really just kind of need to stay in my lane, and my lane is working out. And I specifically nailed down my genre and my market to be, you know, fitness test related. And after the fitness test, what is that? So that is kind of my world that I kind of figured out. But it took me a good 5-6 years before I quit playing around with other things that were really just big distractions.
Right. But also by staying in your lane, that with the fitness testing and after the fitness test stuff, that helped you discover one of the more profitable things, which is defining it all as tactical fitness.
Yes.
Now focusing on the 40-year-old plus set that wants to stay in tactical shape and the changing needs of that group, because those dudes have money. 18-year-olds don't have a lot of money, but guys like me will spend big bucks to maintain some level of studliness for at least another 6 months.
Right. Well, that is exactly right. So I stay in your lane and dance with the one who brung you. What I mean by that is you know, over the years, as I've gotten better at this writing process, I've been offered other opportunities to write for other websites, to write for other publishing firms. And I'd be honest with you, I just stayed with military.com because they've been with me since 99. I've been writing articles for them. And, you know, I write, you know, something that every now and then I'll write for another website, but it's not like 3 articles a week. You know, I don't have the bandwidth to be able to do that personally, but same with the publisher. You know, a publisher is good. He likes writing military fitness books. I like writing military fitness books. So I think everything works pretty well with that relationship. I don't have to deal with editors and new editors and what do you call them? Agents.
Publishers.
Agents. Yeah, I don't have to deal with those guys. So it's just, you know, it's just a comfortable fit that, you know, I feel comfortable enough. Like I get an idea to write a book. I say, hey, we need
like
to
your
write
copywriting book.
Yeah, we need to write a book called Tactical Strength. Right. And he goes, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, that's all I got to do to it. You know, so anyway, there's things about keeping relationships and loyalty to the people that have been along with you in your journey.
Yeah.
Even when, you know, there may be other opportunities outside that, but if you're smart, you can still advance the whole relationship to go in that same direction without burning bridges and doing things like that. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. And I think loyalty is huge. Let's run through a couple of these, just what people have been saying. Somebody says one is a bad number, always have a backup or a second option. I agree with that for the most part. The one thing though is that most people quit too soon on their first option. So just be careful that you're not jumping ship too soon, because like for me, it took a good 4 years of really working hard before something popped. This is a good one. 80% directionally correct means you should have launched already.
Huh.
That's a good one. That's
like
like the
that.
minimum viable stuff. I like that too. Let's see. Peter said, wasted time and money on that slip of paper. I guess the business degree. So this one, I think we already said, website traffic does not mean you're making money. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. Great advice. Susan said about the mobile lane thing. It's Mrs. Bucket, pronounced bouquet. I don't remember, you remember that show,
Yeah.
Keeping Up Appearances?
Yeah, that's funny.
Use the tools. Another stories sell. That's good. Squirrel, shiny objects, rabbit holes, stay focused. Yeah,
that's a big one
thing too.
Yeah.
And that's, that's another thing that I always think about is when I'm considering buying something, is it something that is going to help me do what I'm already doing better? Or is it something that's going to distract me away from what I'm already doing and going to just serve as an excuse for not doing what I need to do? For example, the StreamYard thing. Once I figured out what this did,
I'm on it too.
I'm on this for, I paid for the full year of the highest thing to be able to go live everywhere. If I could go live naked in the street with this thing and make money, I'd do it. Just saying, that's more like a man on the street thing. I wonder if I could do that with my phone, not the naked part. Anyway, so here's one. As you become a more relevant marketer, you will need more money to stay at that level or even higher. Maybe. I think in some, money and time and all that stuff. I'd say, yeah. I mean, in some cases, absolutely. Good question. How do you realize what is not just a shiny object, but an actual real option? I think what I just said is this going to help me do what I already know I want to do better, faster, easier, more efficiently? And if the answer is yes, then definitely, that what you're really doing is buying back time. What we're doing, like again with StreamYard, we're buying back a crap ton of time of not having to go and repost and do all these other things. Like I've got a thing we're getting ready to release here in the not too distant future. It's like, do you want to spend 3 weeks writing all the emails and the pages and all the other stuff that you need for a webinar, or would you rather pay a copywriter $25,000 to do it, or would you rather use this new software suite that I have coming out? Well, I think that'll be an easy decision for people who are serious about doing webinars. It won't be for someone who's, maybe I have to do a webinar someday. I'm going after the people who are already doing webinars and know what a pain in the ass it is. So
I like it. Hey, do you know what else? Do you want to answer another question? Sorry.
I was just this one last thing. Do you actually have to start down the path? Yeah. You should already be down the path. It goes back to what I said at the beginning and what Stu said as well. You pretty much don't need anything to start going down the path to doing it. You don't need the things that you'll need when you're at this level. When you're at this level, what you need at this level basically is take action, and start moving in that direction. So, anyway, you think the one other cool piece of advice that I would just share that changed my life, because I know it's important because I can remember where I was and who I was with and all the little circumstances. I got a great piece of software. I'm I mean, I got a great piece of advice from a guy named Marlon Sanders that was in Boulder, Colorado in February of 2001. And we were standing in the lobby of the hotel. I was a speaker at the event, but I was a neophyte in the world at that time. And we were talking about something, and just out of the blue, he said, well, if you really want to destroy a competitor, take their USP and give it away as a free bonus with your offer. And I was like, oh my God. And it just, it resonated with me. And so what I did as a result of that piece of advice, I had a mortgage product at the time, 10 Dirty Little Secrets of Mortgage Financing, that I was selling. And I was losing a lot of sales to people who thought they needed mortgage calculator software and all this other stuff, instead of buying my thing, which was going to teach them how not to get ripped off on their mortgage. So what I did was I went and licensed a piece of software that did all the stuff that these other people were charging for. And I licensed it and then included it as a free bonus with my offer. And so when people saw my offer, I said, no, by the way, you don't have to go buy mortgage software, because mine will do this, 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 and this, show you all the prepayment stuff. And my sales went up 50% just by doing that. And I've always thought that if you have somebody who's a competitor, take their USP, their unique selling proposition, whatever it is, the thing that they're offering, and you don't steal it. You just, if somebody's doing this, you can do this too. And then you just include it as a free bonus. So
genius.
That was like, I still look back at that moment. And I remember Marlon standing there, big, tall guy. He was holding one of those hotel teacups, coffee cups, and he was drinking Lipton tea. And I remember the red Lipton label hanging on the string. And when he said those words, and I was like, holy crap, you just changed my life. So there's been a bunch of those over the years. It means I'm getting old, man. Holy crap.
Well, let me share this with you. The pickle's here.
No, you go ahead, man. I'm listening.
All right. So you're letting the chickens out with Jim inspired me to write an article on this topic, just a different genre. So instead of business, I'm focusing this on the 10 best pieces of advice I've ever heard for spec ops candidates.
Ooh.
Right. And so I've actually gone into the Jim Edwards Method Premium and started making a list using the listicle wizard.
Excuse me. Are you going to share it real quick?
I can. I'm not quite finished with it, but I can share it. So how do I do that? I share screen.
Yeah. Just click on share screen, and then I'll show it.
Can you see that?
No, you got to click share screen, dude.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I got to do it again. Share. Okay. All right. What can you see? Can you see that?
Yeah.
So listicle wizard. So all I did is,
can you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just filling it out. What is this topic about? I know it says 2 to 3 words, but I'll fix that later.
Yeah.
10 best pieces of advice I've ever heard, for the spec ops candidate. And now, what's difficult, hard, enduring hell week by staying up 120 hours straight and nonstop movement. What's the enemy here? Always make them the enemy. Because you are overthinking the small things and disregarding the big things.
Nice.
And here's the list, 10 best pieces of advice to get to and through selection. And I'm just keep adding to this, prepare well.
Okay.
You need all the, this is just like, you need all the tools.
This is the preamble stuff.
Yeah. Preamble stuff. Yeah. And then here's the list, these are pieces of advice.
Okay. Prepare well.
Let's see. Mental toughness, just get tougher. Always, you got to quote Jocko on those because he's so concise with his terminology.
You need to be up in your hotel room doing burpees till you're throwing up in the waste paper basket.
Focus on your weakness, maintain your strengths. Don't be in a rush to serve. Just because you can at 18 does not mean you are ready. Make it next meal. Best advice of graduating Hell Week. That's a good one. Makes 120 hours a little more consumable when you can eat and stop every 5 to 6 hours. Foot care, that's pretty important. Don't listen to yourself. Talk to yourself. That's a good one. And I still got more to do. So
Nice.
anyway, I am in the zone of filling out this.
Ignored the keyboard warriors. That would be,
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know what I mean? Or get advice from people qualified to give it. Something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, I like that. It's funny that those things in life, you could adapt that article to anything. Meaning if you want to make it in business, don't, be tough, stick with it, be in good shape, take advice only from people qualified to give it, talk to yourself, don't listen to yourself. That's cool. I like that.
So anyway, I've it inspired me to write this article, and I've been writing it in my head for about, I don't know, when did you do that? On Monday?
Yeah.
So yeah, for a couple of days now, it's just been in my brain. And I even asked my wife, I was like, hey, you've heard me give advice to people before. Can you think of any of the things that you remember that stuck out? Right? Because I'm just trying to get some of the best pieces of advice that I've ever given, I've ever heard personally, that I used, to go towards this same topic. So
don't be a wimp.
Try it for your genre. For you guys that are listening, try using that list.
10 pieces of advice. I'm glad to see you've been massaging your listicle since Monday. Nice work, dude.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, great job, man. Okay, so I think that does it for the Jim and Stu show. And so let's bust out this let's bust out this podcast episode real quick. And
92.
on the podcast 92, and we're talking about are you evolving? And
business opportunities emerge and evolve regularly. Are you able to capitalize when they do?
Okay. So 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, Jim Edwards here, and welcome to the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks podcast. I'm your host, Jim Edwards, along with my trusty co-host and podcast producer, Mr. Stu Smith. Welcome, Stu.
Hello, Jim.
This is podcast episode number 92. How many people have done actually 92 podcast episodes, Stu? Not many.
There's a few out there.
There's a few, but not that many. Most people do like 1 or 2.
It requires consistency.
To be consistent, you must be consistent. Ooh, I need that as a t-shirt or a hat or a patch. So what are we talking about today, Stu?
Well, with our live group here on Facebook, we are also taking questions if you guys have them. But we're talking about being ready for business opportunities as they emerge, and things evolve really quickly especially in the online business world, and are you just ready to capitalize on them when they do?
Right. And
that's what we're talking about.
I think one of the biggest examples, one of the biggest things that I can think of, there's 2 things I want to talk about just to let you know right up front. First is COVID. Second is mini site creator. So COVID, I don't know when you're listening to this. I don't know where you are in relation to when you're hearing this, but at the time of this recording, we are smack dab in the middle of COVID and all kinds of other cool things going on in the world to keep everybody's life interesting, whether you want it to be or not. And everybody having to be at home. What is the number one change in business that happened to pretty much everybody, whether you have your own business or whether you work for somebody else, Stu? What's the number one change?
A lot of virtual everything, right?
Exactly. Virtual everything. Meetings, having to be able to do meetings right, do meetings well, just being able to motivate, persuade, inspire, educate, lead, whatever you need to do in your business, you had to be able to figure out how to do it virtually. And you look at a company like Zoom, I think their stock went up 3 or 4 or 500% or more. It was insane. All these different services like StreamYard popping up and really taking off, so people can do live video. And if you didn't or haven't or aren't willing to figure out how to do video, how to do virtual working and do it the right way and do it well, you have pretty much either gone out of business or in the process of going out of business. And same thing with social media and other stuff, all these things coming together. It's a whole different landscape of just being able to do business in the first place. And that's a huge example of just evolving, not necessarily even to get ahead, but just evolving really fast just to survive, just to stay even, just to keep in the arena, where there are other people that are out in the parking lot of the arena hoping that we start up with teleseminars again. That ain't happening.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Any thoughts on that topic of virtual or anything else that you've seen coming out of the COVID thing that's affected your business? Well, affected your business. Nobody could go to gyms for forever. So how did you evolve with that?
I was really lucky, you can call it whatever you want, but I created a no equipment workout in November of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it sold okay. People were asking, hey, you got anything for just calisthenics and cardio? And that's the book I wrote, called Calisthenics and Cardio. And, it sold okay. It was a good, ebook worthy of keeping on selling. But then when COVID hit, that thing exploded. And not only to the point of where, my normal sales were still going as they were, it doubled, tripled what normal sales normally were. Right. So people were really hungry for, I need some ideas to do without a gym and with minimal equipment. And so I was very fortunate to have that, program already out there ready to go. And what it forced me to do was I created an entire section on my webpage that is nothing but my calisthenics, minimal equipment, home gym section. And there's probably about 8 or 10 book options that you can do, with that. Of course, I have personalized training that personalizes it for whatever equipment you have, but, and I've been selling that as well, but I created a home gym section.
And that a lot of that though was just repositioning stuff you already had, because I've been working out with you forever. And I mean, for the first 3 years, I think I had dumbbells. I mean, everything else was, a mat, pull-up bar, and
homemade pull-up bar,
homemade dip bar, homemade pull-up bar. I mean, that's, as ghetto as it gets. But so some of that evolving was just repositioning stuff you already had, and saying, hey, by the way, you can do this without having to go to a gym.
Just letting people know that was part of it. Like so, you said, it's abs. Always evolving. Be selling.
Yeah.
Always be selling.
Always be selling. Core. Come on. Really excellent. I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on this stuff. But I think that was kind of an evolution of the message too. You'd been doing it and we're making it happen. Now I mentioned something else, Mini Site Creator. This was a course that I created it was my first big multi-million-dollar product that I launched back in 2004, 2005, 2006 were the heydays for that. And I had created this multi-CD set where nobody had high-speed internet back then. I mean, a few people did if you lived in a big city, but the vast majority of people were still on dial-up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to watch videos, you had to watch them on CD-ROMs. And so we were in the CD business.
Yeah.
We were selling thousands of CDs.
I sent a lot of swim videos via CD.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the one thing that happened though around 2006, I don't know when or why it happened, but that seemed to be the year that we reached the tipping point of high-speed internet. The vast majority of people got high-speed internet, and so CD sales went in the toilet. And so I evolved and we moved everything online. But then we didn't just evolve from the standpoint of let's take this and put it online. A lot of things had changed in the way that you put up a site and other things. And I needed to make it more efficient, more relevant, needed to add a little bit of a bright, shiny object to it. So that was the first year that we created our wizards. And we actually had software that would help people to create a site and upload it for you. And so that was a way that we were able to take that and evolve and keep going and making, a couple million more with something, as opposed to it just dying. And the problem is that what you're doing right now probably is not what you're going to be doing 2 years from now in some aspect. Now, so what I mean is that you'll still be doing fitness forever. Stu will always be doing fitness stuff. He'll never stop doing fitness stuff. But the way he delivers it may change.
Sure.
There's a lot of stuff going on. One of the things everybody needs to pay attention to, and I'm going to prognosticate a little bit here, but virtual reality is going to explode in the next 3 to 4 years. It's already becoming mainstream with the Oculus Quest. That's the Oculus Quest is the thing that is bringing it into the people's homes. This is the first thing that they have that doesn't it doesn't require being hooked up to a computer. It doesn't require external sensors. It is truly self-contained. And I honestly believe in the next 48 to 96 months, it is going to fundamentally change a lot of the things that we're doing, not just in entertainment, but also in business. Because as those headsets get lighter, imagine being able to have like right now, I've got 4 monitors set up. But imagine having that 4 monitor setup inside of a headset, and you can have your exact setup. Everything's in the cloud, and all you need is the headset and a keyboard, and you can have your same office anywhere you go, anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling you, that's coming. And it's already here and to some degrees, but the big thing holding it back is how heavy they are, but they're getting lighter and lighter and more pixels. They were already coming out with the Oculus Quest 2 is coming out this month. So I think that's a big thing you need to pay attention to, because things will just stop. That's the other thing I've noticed, especially in the world of online. Stuff just stops. Stuff just stops. It ends.
It's gone.
And it doesn't come back. That's the thing. I know plenty of people that are waiting for what we were doing in 2006, 2007 to kind of roll back around. It's not gonna. Yep. What does stay constant are principles. Like, what are the main principles in your business that are immutable and will never change?
Well, first of all, I'm still looking for my new 8-track to come out.
Dude, I'm waiting for my jetpack.
Like I said, they quit making 8-tracks. They quit making cassette tapes. They quit making CDs. Everything's downloadable now. So yeah, you're right. They just quit making it. Things that stay the same in my business, me adding content, that content may change. It is already changing in the last 20 years from, writing articles and sending them by a newsletter. Now they're, writing articles and making videos and plugging videos into the articles and sharing them on social media. Things are just changing with that. And, being able to adapt to those changes is what keeps you relevant. And that's the biggest key. I remember when Jim and I first started doing this kind of stuff together, other than just me being a coach and talking about fitness, is when we created the DIY media marketing. First, we wrote a book. And by the time we finished the book, we're like, all right, let's do a little course on this, make this book as kind of like a textbook. And we had this 12 months lined up, 12 chapters, 12 months. And by the time we're about 3 months in, already we saw changes on the horizon that we needed to do.
Like podcasting.
Add a podcast. And I was like, yeah, we got to figure out how to have a podcast. And sure enough, Zoom came out. Perfect. Easy button to do a podcast. And what has happened since we've been doing Zoom for almost 100 podcasts?
Yeah. StreamYard.
We're not even 100 podcasts in. We're into StreamYard.
Yeah. And Microsoft is coming out with a thing that apparently is really good. I haven't played with it, but all the reviews I'm seeing on it are that it's really, really good. And again, like with the VR stuff, I mean, I'm on a VR kick because I've always thought that was really cool. And now having one that really works. I mean, this is like my third one. But VR meetings, the future of, you have your little avatar, everybody meets in a little virtual space. You've got virtual whiteboards and other stuff that everybody can share and write on, like you're all in the same room. I've done it. It's freaky, actually, how it just, and after 5 or 10 minutes, you feel like you're in the same room.
That's cool.
And so the big thing though, and I'm going to call you out again on this in front of everybody.
Oh yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, but I'm still going to say it. And I want everybody who's watching, I want to see some comments. And that is real-time workout videos. Because this is the thing that you're missing. This is the thing where, the Stu Smith personality, me personally, okay, like today, for example, my workout, I did 10 sets of 10 pull-ups or pulls, and then some running in certain things, and then some flutter kicks and some other stuff. And that workout with the run thing might have been hard to do, the real-time thing, but you could just say, okay, pause and go run, come back, unpause, let's do this. But you actually doing the workout with the person as they're doing it in real time, motivating, talking, pacing, showing, it's like, okay, I got 30 minutes, I can do my 30-minute with Stu thing, because when you're by yourself, it's harder. It takes a lot more motivation, self-motivation to do it by yourself. And you're not sure, hey, am I waiting too long in between sets? Should I be doing this faster? It's, when you're running,
you're right.
It's hard. It's hard to run faster when you're by yourself. But when I imagine myself running with other people, I go faster. Literally, when I visualize other people running, or like Jason Voorhees chasing behind me with a hockey mask and a machete, I've told you this, I can increase my times by like as much as 25%. And this is a big deal. Peter said we're seeing this on some level now with Peloton. Yeah, that's kind of fake because it's not really live, but you don't know it's not live, and so it's not really fake. But I'm telling you, Stu, if you had a selection of 30-minute, 60-minute workouts, that just, even if you used them as one-time offers for your books, I'm telling you, it would revolutionize your income, dude.
All right.
I'm telling you, it's like the push-up pull or the grease in the groove, or, like the 2-week thing of you know what I'm talking about, the 2-week thing every 6 months where you're doing your pull-up push or push-up push, where it was in real time with Stu motivating you and getting you to do your thing. And it was like 6 months. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, Stu, now more than ever.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, I'm just telling you, it's there you go.
You know what'd be cool though is I'm already seeing it now. You actually got me thinking about it more now, right? Whenever it gets caught back here, and I'm thinking about way it's going to look and all that, it's going to happen. So
right,
just stand by.
But don't jerk around with it too much.
Right.
Someone else will come along. Hey, that Navy SEAL who just turned 35 came out with all this stuff, and he's training guys. Oh, okay. And the fact that you trained him means nothing.
That's right.
Sometimes
he was my
student first, Stu.
That is true. That is true. No, that's really good. And you know, on the back of my shirts, what do they say?
Never quit.
Never quit. So I'll have guys in front of me running, and I can see them, right? But that never quit shirt right there, that'd be really cool, because that motivates the person behind you, But anyway, I'm on it. I don't want to distract from the rest of the podcast here, but the
podcast is basically over.
That is a good avenue for me to.
I mean, one of the questions you asked in the show prep is, are you flexible enough to stay relevant?
That's, you know what? You're not wrong.
And that, that's focusing on principles and focusing on what you're trying to do. And it's interesting.
Nothing changes with what I do. It's just how I am presenting it. So
Peter says getting chased by a cougar would move you. Yes, it would too. I get chased by dogs every once in a while down here where I live too. And that sucks.
Yeah.
And Denise asked VR, what is VR? VR is virtual reality. And the other thing, here's the other thing with the Oculus. Again, the Oculus yesterday, I was playing Beat Saber. Have you seen any of the VR games or anything, Stu? There's this game, Beat Saber. Have you ever seen it?
I've never played it, but
it's amazing. It is so much fun. In fact, I used it yesterday when my shoulder was hurting. I used it literally to loosen up my shoulder. So I'm, that's what I told Terry. Yeah, I can. Okay. But the bottom line though is that I haven't messed with this, but by the end of this year, Oculus is owned by Facebook. Oh. And the only way you're going to be able to log into your Oculus is through a Facebook account. And they haven't pushed the button yet because I'm scared of what'll happen. But you can push the button and you can broadcast from your Rift or your Quest to Facebook. Oh. I'm not sure what you're gonna
that may
broadcast
be the there.
But now, I mean, imagine if we were all in a room together, or a stadium, or on a deserted island, on the gym boat, whatever. We'll get Stu on a boat, a virtual boat. Yeah. And we were all there. Somebody said getting chased by chickens. But imagine that tied in with social media. It's I'm telling you, the future is here with that. This may not be it, but they're figuring it out. The other big thing that they've done technically, and again, I don't want to, I mean, you know me when I get excited about something, but the other big thing that they figured out is how to make you not feel sick to your stomach. When the first VR games came out on PlayStation a couple of years ago, it was hard. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, no, it doesn't happen. I'm not sure what they did, but it doesn't happen. I can have that thing on the only reason I ever need to pull it off is because it's just getting too heavy. But that's a mechanical thing. So anyway, I think, in the last 5 to 20, the last thing you had on here, maybe discuss changes in the last 5 years versus 20 years and see if we can forecast the next changes. I always love prognosticating, because if you're wrong, nobody remembers, but if you're right, you can go back and point to the video where you're like, I predicted that. I think VR is going to be huge. I really do. I think it's gotten to that point. And it's not going to be a couple of years before it's like 6 or 8 ounces. You know, it weighs as much as your cell phone on the front of your head, and you can leave that thing on for forever. And it's like wearing glasses. I think that's going to change a whole lot of things in entertainment, communication, productivity, meeting, all kinds of stuff. I think another thing that's going to change is high-speed connectivity, either through 5G or through this satellite network that what's his face is putting up, Elon Musk. This low Earth orbit satellite network, I think, is going to be a big deal. So more and more and more stuff's just going to always be hooked into high speed. I think those, and then resulting from that, whole new world of productivity tools, cloud-based stuff, all kinds of that's all just going to be absolutely huge. But I'm telling you, imagine your setup in your office right now, what you have versus what would be the perfect setup. You know, a bigger monitor here, this, you know, being able to bring stuff in, push stuff out, like that Minority Report thing with Tom Cruise. Remember that when he was doing all that? You can do that inside of virtual reality. And so being able to talk and meet and do all that, it's here. It's just going to take a little while to get to the folks. So that's what I think is going to come. What do you think, Stu?
It's hard to beat that one. I mean, I do think more virtual is going to be, not necessarily virtual reality, but just like what we're doing is going to be a lot more accepted and used, just like people use the telephone. People are going to be able to hop on one of these, whether it's their phone or it's their desktop or whatever, and that's how people are going to communicate. Be more face-to-face communication.
I think one of the things that will happen with this at some point is that it'll be easier for us, like this, what Peter just pushed here. Peter would be able to raise his hand. I could click on him and he would drop right in and we could talk to him and then drop right back out. You can sort of do that with Zoom and sort of do that with other stuff, but it's still a little clunky. But I think that's coming real soon. You know, just being able to meet and talk and interact and collaborate, all these things, I think is going to be huge. So cool. All right. Well,
another easy day, Jim.
That's it for our podcast. And so if you're not a member of the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks group on Facebook, you should be. As of right now, we we broke the 20,000 mark. Nice. That was what I was going to check. We broke yesterday at our staff meeting, we were 40 away from breaking 20,000. So we have hit the 20,000 mark, member mark, which is really cool.
It really is amazing.
Yeah. Especially remember back when we had like 3 members and you and I were 2 of them.
Yeah. So we're like, wow, we hit 100.
That's right.
Good. It's growing.
So yeah, that's really cool. And so everybody needs to jump on that. And if you don't have a copy of my book, Copywriting Secrets, you should head on over to copywritingsecrets.com. You can grab a copy of the book for free. Just pay a small shipping and handling. Over 40,000 people around the world have grabbed a copy and are loving it. So if you want to get in shape, where should they go, Stu? So that especially they can get on your list for when you start having those real-time workout offers.
Doing those virtual workouts. Yeah. StuSmithFitness.com. That's where I am. So
excellent. So that's the end of the podcast. Have a great day. So Stu, one last thing. This is continuing the idea. And I know you don't like it when I do this, but it's okay because you live far enough away. I'm not worried about you coming down here and beating my ass. Here's the thing with those real-time workouts, dude, that could open up a huge thing of a membership site too. because as you're doing these workouts even with your guys, the heroes of tomorrow, okay? Every workout y'all do is potential for you to film a workout. And then people can choose, and you can categorize them. So you could sell them one off, the 30-minute upper body with Stu, the 45-minute leg crusher. I'll help you come up with all kinds of cool names that sound like pro wrestling. But the other thing is, if you just started taping the workouts and they went in a membership site where people could do the workout with the group.
Yeah.
Dude, you think of these kids that you're training and everything, you could get 1,000 kids to pay you $10 a month.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. What's interesting, what you just said, is that my membership group gets the exact workouts that I do with Heroes of Tomorrow.
I know that.
As a newsletter. To add a video to that is like, next generation.
Sure. So you just film one of the workouts and say, okay, here's your real-time workout for the week. And then, by the way, if you join Stu Smith Live or whatever for $10 a month, you can get all the workouts we do every single day. And they're just a day behind or a week behind or whatever.
Yep.
And then you have some kid or somebody that you figure out how to film the workouts and make them so that somebody could be doing them at home. And it wouldn't be that hard. You wouldn't have to do all 5 every week or whatever, but even just a couple, 3, or, an upper body, lower body, cardio.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, just like the conversation we had a while back when we talking about covers and books and ebooks and Amazon, I'm telling you right now, this could totally change your life and your business and the lives of these kids dude, I'm just going to show everybody real quick. Hang on.
Yes, this
when
is
Stu says you get a workout, this is what you get. You get this mangy you get this mangy 3-ring binder, but this is a workout. This is what you get. That's the workout. So you got to be pretty self-motivated to go and do all this stuff. But if you could bring this workout to life and you could see the kids, and it's like, narrow once in a while, zoom in on the fat kid so that I could say, okay, well, that kid's getting out. I'm kicking that kid. At least there's one person who's worse than me. I'm telling you, man, that could be huge. Because also the other thing is, I know when I put this thing on and I have the video going, I can see how long it's going to last. A lot of time when I look at this, holy shnikey, how long is this going to go? Is this 90 minutes? I know, okay, this is an hour and 10 minutes. Even if I'm puking, it'll be over in another 59 minutes. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you. All right.
I'm on it.
All right, cool.
I'm on it. It is brewing.
All right. Well, everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.